Hi there all. I bought some potassium ferricyanide, which is potassium hexacyanoferrate 3. It's the red stuff. I got this from a capital city, which was cheaper than eBay. It's 500 grams and that was $137 shipped, where on eBay it was going to cost $120 for 30 grams. It was $60 for 30 grams of the stuff and $60 for shipping. So I'm going to mix them up and see what we get. So I'll see you in a while. Okay, so it's been an hour and I've added about not much at all really of it, but it's changing colour now pretty rapidly. I'm not sure if you can see that. On the side there it's getting darker. So slowly but surely, yeah, it's a lot milkier. Alright, I'll get back. Okay, it's been an hour and a half into the experiment. I've used about 60 mils. I got 60 mils of zinc sulfate left, so about 40 mils, and the stuff is turning green, so I'm about to abort. So maybe there's too much zinc added to that. I'm running off, because who knows what's coming out of that now. So maybe failed. We'll have to look it up and ask some questions. Now I used a cheap brand of demineralized water. It was going alright until about 40 milliliters of it was added, and then it turned green. So I'll see if I can still use it. Been resting for about 15 minutes. There's a build-up of stuff at the bottom, but as you can see, it's green. Well, I'll glove up and I'll filter it. It could have been the stir bar. It's turned a purplish sort of weird colour. It's just a metal piece of an old bolt. So next time I'll get a real stir bar. I think the stir bar might have contaminated it. It's made a little green mark at the bottom of that jar. I'm filtering it now. Could be too much zinc. I reckon something to do with that bar. It's a blue. Alright, I'll get back when it's dried and filtered. It's been 2 hours since I've stopped stirring it. The solution's still green, so all the good nanoparticles are still in there. It just went straight through that coffee filter. So I'll probably have to get some better filtering. I might do what K-Rex 2 did and just let it evaporate out and keep the particles that way. So we have the blue ones, which are probably bigger, stuck in the filter, and we have the real fine stuff down there. So I'm pretty sure it's probably the stirring bar which contaminated that. I've ordered some coated stirring bars off eBay. They should come in the next 2 weeks, so I'll try again. Hi there, I'm back. My potassium ferricyanide, what was in the filter paper is 0.09 grams. I have some graphite to mix with it, 0.09 grams. I can't do the 10% because the scale, these scales only go to 0.00, and I have 0.09 grams of feather carbon there. So we got graphite, feather carbon, and the potassium ferric cyanide, which was sort of failed because it had a metal stirring rod, which I think contaminated the product. That's the stuff what was at the bottom of the jar. I haven't used that. That's what went through the filter paper. So it could be a bit of that and also a bit of that left inside that solution there. So we'll leave that for another cell. For this test, I used a graphite pad this time, same as the other cells I was doing. I have some graph oil there. It's got a bit damaged though in shipping. And that measures 0.2 ohms over about that distance, which is way better than these, which over that end to the other end is about 4 ohms. So I'll clean this up, I'll mix that stuff up as the active material, those 3 contents, and we'll see what sort of cell we get. It's a sort of bluish, this one, because of the metal contamination. But that one was cleaned and filtered. I was actually surprised I got 0.09 grams out of it. There was 0.5 of a gram of solution, so we lost a lot somehow. Okay, I was wrong about the carbon pad. It's 1.1 ohms across the distance of that. Got a piece of zinc, some cell guard. Look what they did with my cell guard. They stuck a sticker right across the thing. So 100 mils missing. I'll have a copper contact on the back of the carbon pad, and I'm going to use as the binder cellulose acetate. So I'll add some binder to the mix. I'll wear my safety gear so I'm camera off, and I'll coat that pad with a thin layer of active ingredient. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I've allowed that to dry for 2 hours. It's only got 0.27 grams of material in that. So the cell may not be all that good, and it also may not be all that good because of the metal contamination, I believe it is. So I'll assemble it. We'll have the carbon plate, we'll have the copper pad on the back of that, zinc sulfate. It was 100 grams of distilled water and 0.5 grams of zinc sulfate as the electrolyte, cell guard and a zinc plate. So I'll assemble that and we'll get back for a charge. Okay, I've started a charge. We're at 4 volts for some reason and 100 milliamps. And I'll give it 2:16, so I'll go 4 minutes on charge. I don't know how the cell's going to work, but I'll be back in 4 minutes. I just backed the voltage off. It's only been not even a minute, 1 minute to 3 volts. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes to go. Okay, we're at 4 minutes charge. I'll disconnect the charger. I don't know how well the cell's going to run or anything like that. I'll connect the data logger. Okay, we have 1.2 volts dropping, so we're leaking even with the cell guard. It's a 30 milliamp load. It might be too big for the amount of active material on the cell. And here we go. Did it just cut out straight away? Yeah, it doesn't have enough power, drops right off. So we'll take this 0.5 to 0. Could be just dry. It's got no power. Right, I'll let the electrolyte soak in. We won't give up yet, but it doesn't look good. And I'll be back. Okay, charging at 1.7 volts, doing 20 milliamps on the M20 range. Oops, it was. Did I just drop out? Don't know what happened there. Loose contact perhaps? Right, we're getting a trickle of amperage going through if I don't touch the lead. Right, we'll leave it at that and see what happens. I'll give it like half hour. I don't think it's going to work though. Doesn't look like it. Okay, the cell's been on charge for an hour. We got some electrolyte seepage. I added some, ran down around there I think and squirted out. The zinc plate probably doesn't have much electrolyte on it. It sort of squirted out as well when I clamped them together. The voltage has gone up from 1.77 to 1.79. So I'll connect the data logger. I also put the milliamp draw of the data logger down to the lowest it can go, 10 milliamps, because it's only 0.27 grams of material on that cell, so we can't expect too much out of that. It's only a first try and the substance was a bit of a failure or something. Got contaminated with that stir rod I think. So I'll connect the data logger. Okay, we have the data logger. We're only 0.5 volts. Hang on, what's wrong? Just checking the leads. Loose contact perhaps. Okay, 0.7 volts. Not looking as good as it was. So we're still not that great. I'm going to try a wet cell. Oh, I might swap the cell guard for a paper towel first after this one. So we'll start a test, see what we get. So in fact it sort of ran 10 milliamps for a second. And it should have cut out. So no go. I'll swap the membrane for a piece of paper towel and see what we got. Okay, I swapped out the cell guard and put a paper towel between the two plates. We're up at 1.2 volts, so we'll just do a run and without a charge and see what happens. So it's got a 10 milliamp load. So cell guard's not wet on one side, on the zinc side. It just doesn't get wet. I think the cell guard might work better in a split tub perhaps, because paper towel's doing better. So at least the cell sort of works. Could be the wrong cell guard. Interesting. Bit better than having that cell guard in there. That was the carbon side, and the other side's dry as, no liquid on it. So in a split tub that may work much better. We'll set up a split tub later with the same cell. I'll put it through some paces, but it's looking a bit better. So I don't know how it would have charged or not charged with that in between it. It could have charged, the milliamps were going down, but it was on the 2M range. But at least it was running its 10 milliamp load. It's, don't forget, it's got only 0.27 grams of material. 0.9 of it is the potassium ferricyanide. And it should cut out in a second. And some reason the data logger doesn't cut out at 0 volts. Cut-off voltage is 0. It should have stopped. I will stop it manually. Don't know what's doing that. Normally does stop. Maybe if I put one in there, 0.01. Alright, so I'll give it a charge for 5 minutes perhaps, and we'll see what happens. So we got about, didn't get a reading there. Didn't get a wattage reading. It's too small of a cell. We'll see if we can get any values coming out. Got a 2-minute run time, I guess. Okay, connected up the charger at the same voltage. It's 1.8 this time. I didn't change the setting, and 15 milliamps. Oh no, it's on the 200 range. Yeah, 15. Yeah, it was 15. It's going to 7 now. Alright, I'll leave that until 3:15. That gives it 5 minutes. $3.10 there. Okay, it's dropped from 20 milliamps down to 1.8 and lowering. It's been on for 8 minutes. I'll disconnect the charge, connect the data logger. Okay, we're at 1.3 volts, 1.6. And we'll start our test after 8 minutes of charge time. Alright, paper towel seems to be performing, but I'm wondering if a piece of paper towel on either side of the membrane might help. Can do that next. Before I do that, I'll increase the charge time to 20 minutes. So it looks like it's going to run again for the same amount of time actually. It's performing a little bit better with this charge. Okay, that's it, 0 voltage. It's weird how it's still doing its 10 milliamps. Oh, we're dropping in milliamps now. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. What's that doing? That's 7 milliamps, I think, if that's accurate at that level. Alright, I'll give it another charge for a bit longer and I'll get back. So 3 minutes on this, on an 8-minute charge, thereabouts. Before I charge it up, that's the voltage recovery, 0.5 and going up slowly. Alright, I'll charge it for 20 minutes or thereabouts. Okay, back after a half hour's charge, the milliamps have dropped down to 0.6 milliamps, paper towel version of the cell. Got 10 milliamp load, and I'll disconnect the charge. Okay, we're at 1.7 volts and dropping sort of, so I'll start the test and see if we get a bit more than 3 minutes. So it looks like it's dropping pretty rapid. So when I get my stir bar, it should arrive in another week or two, I'll make up the stuff again and see how we go. This time I should have a bit more of it, providing the distilled water doesn't react with it. It shouldn't, because it would have done it straight away, turning that bluish green colour instead of after an hour and a half. Well, this time I put the cut-off voltage as 0.01, so it should stop. So we're having trouble maintaining 10 milliamps, I think, there. Very small amount of material on that side though, it's only 0.27 grams. And then some of that got lost inside the container I was mixing it up in the binder with. So it could be even less. It's going to be hard sell to sort of check. I'm going to need more material. I'll give it another run tomorrow after the electrolyte soaks in. Perhaps it's a bit struggling to get through the binder, cellulose acetate. So it's about 3 minutes again. Still, it's a bit higher on the voltage after a half-hour charge. Where it stopped. Alright, you need a value for the cut-off voltage and it will cut out. So 3 minutes, same. So who knows what's going on. If the material might be too thin, so it's a bit of a hit and miss here. So I'll try again tomorrow, give it one more charge, and then we'll see what we get, and then I'll compare it when we make some more material. Might even make up a lot more of that metal material where it went blue, just to see if there's a difference. Alright, till tomorrow, and our voltage bounced back 0.7 and rising. Okay, I'm back at the second day, so it sort of was damp all night. Hopefully the electrolytes got in. It's 15 minutes on charge at the moment at 2 volts, and it slowly went up a little bit and it's just dropping now. So I'll disconnect the charging and connect up the battery. Okay, we're at 1.3 volts. I'll stop the monitoring. And we'll do a 10 milliamp charge, run test. Okay, we got some weird performance issues going on. I'm going to scrape the material off after it dries out, and I think it's less than 0.27 grams actually. Half of it stuck to the bowl that was being mixed in. The next test I'm going to do is a double paper towel and the separator between the paper towels, the cell guard. So the paper towel will be holding the electrolyte and the cell guard will be doing the blocking of electrons, hopefully. I'll charge it up for about 15 minutes again. So it probably looks like it's going to run for 3 minutes again. Maybe a slight performance increase over yesterday's. And there we are, 3 minutes 46 seconds on that one. So I'll put the double paper towel, the cell guard in between the two paper towels, and I'll give it a 15-minute charge and we'll get back. Okay, the cell's got two paper towels and the cell guard between the paper towel, and the voltage is now 1.1 without the charge. That was after the discharge. And it seems to be increasing now, so that might work out a bit better perhaps. So I'll set the monitor and connecting the charge. Alright, I'll leave that for about 15 minutes and we'll see what sort of voltage. We're pretty low on the amps going in. Oops, not even registering. I'll up the voltage a little slight bit. Okay, 2.3 volts. And I'll be back. Okay, we're 15 minutes in on the twin paper towel with the cell guard in between the separators. I'll disconnect the charge. We're holding 1.8. We're still dropping. I'll connect the other end of the data logger. Okay, disconnecting the monitor. And we'll do a 10 milliamp discharge. So we're at 1.7 volts, so I think we're a bit higher now. Stop straight away. Don't know what's going on there. I'll just check leads. And try again. Alright, I'll get rid of this. Try again. I don't know what's going on, but the cell doesn't seem to be wanting to run. Oh, it just drops in voltage massively. Can't even keep up, it doesn't even do the 10 milliamps. I don't know what's going on there, maybe the data logger is broken. It should actually cut off. Alright, call that a duddy. See what the voltage bounces back up to. Just checking the leads. Try again. Last time. That drops right off to 0. It's like it's shorting out. Oh well, we'll do a short circuit and see what we get. $20 milliamp range. Shorting now. We're over the 20. Oh, hang on, wrong direction. 20 milliamp range now. We're only 3 milliamps. That's probably why. I'll put double clamps on, doing another short circuit. That's still only 3 milliamps. I'll give it a longer charge and we'll see if it improves. It's looking a bit sad now with the double paper towel. Now, the cell's been on charge for 15 minutes to 16 and it's sort of fluctuating now. That's the milliamp draw on the 20 amp range. I'll just disconnect the charge and connect the data logger. Okay, data logger is now connected, but we don't have any voltage reading. Maybe a dead cell. I'll just check the cell manually with the multimeter. Okay, the cell looks like it's dead. No voltage in the cell at all now, for some reason. It's on the 20 range. Oh, swap the leads around. 0.03 of a volt. It's a short circuit or something. Alright, I'll get rid of the cell guard and see what we get. Still no response to the cells. The material has actually gotten onto the paper towel and probably on the cell guard. And the voltage for the cell is only 0.4 of a volt. So it's looking dead. Okay, got one more test which may pick the cell up, but I doubt it. I'll be back and I'll explain that test in a second. Okay, from making the active material, I have that green liquid here. I just poured a bit more zinc sulfate into it. We'll use that as the electrolyte and see if we get anything. Okay. And it's one paper towel. Alright, check voltage. Okay, voltage slightly up. 0.7 of a volt. So I'll give it a charge and I'll get back. Okay, started the charge. The charge voltage is 3.5 and it's 44 milliamps fluctuating there. So we'll hold that for a little bit. I'll get back in about 5 minutes for this one. Okay, the cell's been on charge for 5 minutes. We'll disconnect the charge. It's dropped down to 29ish. Alright, we'll see what the voltage on the cell is. Alright, we're at 2 volts. So I'll connect it to the data logger. Okay, we're at 1.9 volts dropping. And we'll see if it runs the load with that other electrolyte stuff. Okay, oh, the electrolyte stuff looks alright actually. I think it has more active material in that electrolyte though. sort of our curve is a bit more flatter. Okay, that's unexpected. But the carbon content on that cell is not that great. May have to do another test. It's holding its voltage well. Looks like that stuff works much better in the electrolyte. Ish. Alright, I'll let that run. I'll wash my hands and I'll get back when it's finished. Okay, that was quite surprising. 7 minutes. We actually got 1 milliwatt hour out of it this time. So I'll dab a little bit more of that electrolyte on it and give it a 10-minute charge. I'll have the data logger mapping the charge as well, so I can keep track of the time exactly, because it was round about whatever time it was, 5 minutes or something. Didn't really take note, but it was round about that. So I'll one more charge and I'll get back. Okay, I'm back. I have 16 minutes on charge. I'll just disconnect the charge. And we're down to 1.5 volts. Connect the data logger. Okay. Right, 1.4 and dropping. Stop monitoring and we'll do a last test for this video. And we'll see if we get an extra longer run time. What I think's going on is we're just adding extra active material to the cell. So the next video I'll put that cell in this tub with the paper towel wrapped right around the carbon plate and all of that green electrolyte, which is the contaminated potassium ferric cyanide solution with zinc sulfate in it as well. So I'll let this run and I'll get back. It's looking okay. Okay, just finished. We got 11 minutes and 2 milliwatt hours out of the 0.27 grams with the added electrolyte booster. I think probably the potassium in the potassium ferric cyanide with Epsom salt. I mean, not Epsom salts, Epsom salt's on the mine. Zinc sulfate and a recovery of 0.7. So I'll call that the end of this video, and I'll try it in the wet cell version and see if we get a better performance gain out of it. So we actually got 10 minutes there, 11 on here. Don't know why that's different. So, alright, thanks for watching.